Welcome to my video on using SharePoint, Power Automate, Cloud Immersive to merge a whole bunch of documents together. So here's your use case. You've got like 20 different documents, sections of documents, and for one customer you need 5 sections, and one you need 10, and one you need 7. And you want to merge those into a finished document for that customer or whoever it may be. Maybe it's a contract of some kind, and you want an easy way to do it. So most importantly, you want someone in your company that doesn't know what they're doing to be able to do this. And this is what we're going to do today. This can save your company hundreds, maybe thousands of hours. So if you find this helpful, send this video around. Obviously, give a like, subscribe to my channel, yada, yada, yada. Do all that stuff if you want to, whatever. All right, here we go. I actually need my microphone from my headset here temporarily. I've got some documents here. I've got my master document. We're going to upload that, and then I'm going to take the paragraphs out of all these documents and add it into that master document that gets uploaded. So first, I like to have some fun with my videos. That wasn't supposed to be there. That's funny. So here we go. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? A woodchuck could chuck wood. Strangely enough, every single time I say this phrase, I have to click on here and change those to lowercase. Right? Super interesting. All right, so there's one document. I got saved. We'll close that one out. Another document. Let's say, vote for the politician that matches what you stand for. That's just common sense, and the election's coming up. I'm doing this in September. I thought I'd have some fun with it. And politicians are known for doing the opposite of what they say. Ooh, this thing didn't work out. All right. That's funny. Let's try that one more time. Politicians are known for doing the opposite of what they say. So this dictate function, by the way, works in Word Online. It works on the latest version of the desktop app if you have it as well. If you bought like 2016, 2019, you're not going to get it. But if you're on like the subscription, you will get that dictate. It works pretty good, as you see there, besides that one little fail. All right, so that should be saved. I want to check number 3 just to make sure it actually said yes, it did save. All right, so I've got these 7 documents. Now let's go over to SharePoint, and we will take and add these in. I'm going to take off my headset. I don't need this anymore. This is my 3rd take of this video because my audio didn't work the other time, so I sure hope this is working, because it takes like 20-some minutes to do this video. The first part, you can watch it, see how it works, and then send the video to someone that is halfway comfortable with Power Automate to make it, because the last 15 minutes, I'm going to go through the Power Automate workflow and show you how it works with the tools that I'm using. All right, so I'm going to create my finished document 1, because I'm so creative. We'll call it that. Let's say it was a contract. You could put in like the date of the contract. You had an email address. You could have the workflow email you a contract number. So original. Customer name. Wow. This is cool. All right. And then, all right. So here's the main part of this thing is you want to be able to select your merge sources. Now, I haven't figured out how to do this in order. So it goes in the order top down. So if you needed to pick this section first, then that section, you'd have to move these around. And I don't know how you do that with the checkbox thing, but you can manually do that. All right, so let's hit the save button. What this will do is it will start a flow off, and it's going to upload documents to Cloud Immersive, which is a tool that deals with documents. I'll talk about Cloud Immersive right now. So there are two different companies out there that I found that work really well for this stuff: Encodian and Cloud Immersive. Encodian, the benefits of that, it's got real polished demos, tutorials. There's lots of stuff out there for someone like me who doesn't really know what they're doing. Now, Cloud Immersive is, they've got documentation, but I think it's meant for a developer. So I'm figuring it out, but it's not the easiest. They do have a tool, an API console tool, where you can run stuff through manually before you put it into your automated workflows. Everything, they give you the code for Node, Python, C#, Java. Okay, this is great if you're a developer, and maybe most people doing this are developers, but I'm not a developer. Anyways, so if you want, okay, back to Cloud Immersive versus Encodian. Encodian's more expensive. Cloud Immersive is free for 800 calls a month to the API. And then they have a $20, this all in US, $50. They have different plans up. I'm quite sure Encodian's quite a bit more than that. But hey, I couldn't figure out how to add my documents together with Encodian without having page breaks in between each of the original documents. In the final document had a whole bunch of blank white space. So there is a insert paragraph function with Cloud Immersive, and that's why I'm using it. By the way, just so you know how this all works, they've got tons of APIs. I'm using the Convert API, and with the editing document functions, the general framework is this. You take a document, you upload it to Cloud Immersive. It sits on a server in RAM. It never gets written to disk. If you're in the paying plans, you can pay which country you're in, so that might make your people feel better about themselves if it's in Canada or the US or wherever you live, or Europe. You upload it using this begin editing API. Then you work with it, insert your paragraphs. It creates another document as you do that, and you'll get a URL for that document. And then you'll maybe insert more paragraphs. And so you get all these URLs. So you always want to be working off the latest URL. And then in the end, you use the finish editing, and then it dumps down your content, and then you can take that and make a file in SharePoint. So that's how the gist of this Word document stuff works. It's begin editing to start it and finish editing. Now, if you, I'm going to be taking paragraphs out of other documents. So I'm going to have my master document that I'm begin editing on. It creates a URL. I am going to take each of my other documents. I'm going to upload them with the begin editing URL as well. And then I'm going to grab the content out of them, take that content and stick it in the original master document. So it's a little bit confusing, but I will show you that in my Power Automate workflow, and it all makes sense. Hey, if I can figure it out, you can too. All right, so did this thing finish? What do you know? It just finished a few seconds ago. We're going to click on the PDF. So this is the finished output. And what does it say? It says, words to live by. Politicians are known for doing the opposite of what they say, so do not vote for the politician that matches what you stand for. A little bit of humor. Okay, don't take me seriously. All right. Although maybe that would work. Maybe it's the one you don't like is the one you need to vote for. All right, who cares? We'll leave that. Okay, notice this is the header of the master template. And my goal is to replace these variables with information from the SharePoint list. Unfortunately, the Cloud Immersive search and replace is not working for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I have a case in. Hopefully I can figure it out. It might be their API, but generally it's me. All right, so that's what the finished product looks like. This extra space here is because this document has an extra paragraph mark in it. So it didn't screw it up. It actually brought in the blank paragraph mark. So with Encodian, I would have had 5 page breaks, and this would have been split up. So let us go back and take a look let's go take a look at the code for the flow. So I'm going to quickly, I shouldn't have done that. Sorry about that. I'm going to go through this one here. You click on that link. I don't know if I assume you know Power AI Automate if you're watching this video. And so this is giving me what happened on my last run. So this is when it starts, is when an existing item is modified. And then I create 3 variables, these 3 document variables. All that is about taking that document list right here, those 5 documents, and getting them in a format that I can upload to Cloud Immersive to grab the content out. So I need 3 variables. I'm sure someone can figure a better way to do it. That's how I did it. And then this one here is important because you always want to be working off the latest updated document at Cloud Immersive. And so I always store the URL in this variable, and then I use that in my next step of the process. All right, so this is how I'm doing the apply to each. So I'm going through the SharePoint list items and grabbing, first I need to grab the document IDs from them. And then for the document IDs, I create the paths. I get the full path to the document. Then I upload it into, oh, sorry. I should have put this up higher. This spot here, this is where I create my master template. So this is my master template document, and I upload it to Cloud Immersive with that begin editing. All right. And I always set that variable. I also do the current time. I always grab that so that I can stick it into the file name of my output so that I never end up with the same file name, because then I have to delete it while testing. Okay, so back to the document stuff again here. So this is the convoluted part, the stuff that's a little bit trickier. I will go through this in detail in a second. Yes, I know this is not the detailed version. This is the overview. I will edit this and show you these, and I will recreate the hard parts for you step by step so that you can do the hard parts. Hard for me anyways. So here's where I'm getting the properties, the full path links, and I'm adding them into the variable. And this is where I'm going through, I'm uploading each of those documents that I want to merge into it. So I have to do a begin editing on those to Cloud Immersive. They get their own URL. I grab all the paragraphs content out of them, and then I add them into the original document there. And then I obviously set that variable so that so the next time this loops through, it's going with the one that's got all the content in it. So round and round and round we go. In the end, I'm going to finish editing that original document there and download it. The downloaded content I'm going to take and turn it into a PDF, and then I'm going to write that PDF out to SharePoint. Piece of cake. All right. This only took me a bit of time to figure out. All right, I couldn't find any videos on this. Here we go. So I'm editing this, so this will be slightly more detailed. I put in notes wherever I could. So just stop the video, take a look at any of my comments. There's no comment on this one, but a bunch of these I wrote comments on. I also tried to name them appropriately. If you do change names afterwards, like these things, if you rename them, you'll screw up stuff underneath, and it'll take you an hour to fix everything. So best to rename them before you start doing stuff with them and adding stuff into your, well, there's nothing in these ones, but you'll see what I mean in a bit. All right, so this is my document list. So these are those 5 different, and it's just merge source 1, merge source 2, merge source 3. It's not the actual document where it sits yet. So we've got to find those documents that are actually here, because these are in a document library. So how do we match that up? So this one here is getting the IDs of these documents. So notice these all have a document ID. So now my first step was to get the document ID. So here we go. And then I'm going to get the full path to the document based on the document ID. And like I said, there's probably a better way. We already talked about using Cloud Immersive URL. All right, so here we go. So we grab the document sections of the SharePoint list, and we append them into a variable called, it's an array called document list. So now we've got those 5 things in an array. All right. Then we take that document list and we look at the document library where all those documents are stored. And I grab every single document name that's in that document library. And so then I need to filter out and only grab the document IDs of the documents in my document list that I want. So this is going to have 7, 8, 9, 10 files in it, and I only want 5. So I'm going to take the value and of the property in here of the file name, and if the name matches the current item of the document list, then I'm going to write out that to the variable, the document ID. So I'm going to end up with 5 document IDs. Now, use the compose here, compose on the current item here, and then use the output of the compose into here. I don't know why I did that, but there's probably a good reason for it. So that's how I did it. Okay, then back to the start where we need to upload the original template, which is Masterflow template. You put your headers in there, your logo, all that kind of stuff. So got to upload that to get this whole process started off. So we upload that right here, and it's hard coded in. I didn't see any need to make it selectable in SharePoint, but you could do something fancy if you wanted to. So, and then I use the get file content using path. This is important. There's get file content and get file content using path. That's the one that worked for me. So use that one. So take the output of this, which is that, and stick it into begin editing. Output of that is going to be our URL for your document at Cloud Immersive. So stick it here. By the way, I don't know if I talked about this, but you need a connection to Cloud Immersive. Just go to Cloud Immersive, log into it, and you go to API keys and grab your API key and slap it into this connection, and it's good for 800 calls in a month. And let's say you run out of 800 calls. Well, then just use another email. Hey, trust me. I don't feel bad doing that. I had to do that because in my testing I ran out of. So they'll get a lot of business. I'm sure they're fine with it. All right. Remember how I talked about I always use the current time to name documents, so I never have to override documents. So that's what that's for. I just grabbed it there. All right. So now I need the actual full path of the document in the document library for this to work, because you can't just use the ID. So I get the file properties of the current item. So it iterates through those 5 items, and then it takes, based on the document ID, it puts the full path into the variable document array. So that's my last variable that I use with the documents. All right. So now this is where it gets starting to get a little tricky. And I'm going to recreate this one down here for you in a second. But what I'm doing here is, out of those, I've got 5 full paths because that's how many documents I have. I'm going to get the content out of those, and I'm going to stick that content into Cloud Immersive into a document, and that's separate from the document I already got up there. I'm going to get the paragraphs out of that document, and then I'm going to stick it into that original document I uploaded to Cloud Immersive. And remember, I'm doing this because I want to avoid page breaks. So it seems convoluted. I tried to replace the page breaks with, like, delete them out using replace, and it didn't work. This is the right way to make a document, though. It's pretty amazing. All right, so here, this is very, very important. When you're working with Apply to Each, you cannot troubleshoot inside there when the thing is running, and it is hard to understand what's broken. So try to do stuff outside and Apply to Each, figure it out, and then stick it in here when you know it's working. The trick was this: you need to use a compose to grab the current item, and then use the output of the compose, and someone will understand why this works. I don't really realize why. I tried sticking this current item into this one and skipping this whole compose step, and the thing would never work. So I'm sure there's a logical explanation for it. I don't know what it is, but I've got notes here. Make a compose of the current item that you're on and grab the output and stick it into get file content. So I've got the content. Then I obviously got to take that file content to upload it to Cloud Immersive. I get a URL from that, and that allows me to grab the, so I use the body, which is from here. That's just a URL, and it gets me the content. All right, so now I've got all this content from this document, and I need to take the paragraphs and upload them into my original document that I had uploaded. So how do you do that? I'm going to recreate this because you don't create and apply to each. What you do, and I'll delete this in a second. So first type Cloud Immersive. Find the green one, document, and then type paragraph. This is the easiest way to find it because there's a lot of things there. Insert a new paragraph. All right. And this looks like so complicated. You only need two things in this whole thing. You only need this, the input file URL. So that would be from your updated Cloud Immersive document. Yes. So this is the master document that we're updating now. And then you actually just hit this box and it shrinks everything away. It's magic. And then you click into your content runs and you grab the content runs from here. And when you do that, it creates an apply to each and it puts in all the paragraphs. Boom, magic. So now what that will do is it will take all the paragraphs and dump them through this process. So I'm going to delete that because I don't want to wreck my flow. So here it is here. So all the paragraphs are, and obviously there's my URL for my latest Cloud Immersive document, and you got to use that URL. I think I talked about that enough. Here's content runs. So you have content runs and you have paragraphs. Think of it as span and text in HTML. And honestly, I'm not an HTML guy. I don't know how it works. I think content runs are inside no. I think paragraphs are inside content runs. I can't remember. I knew it at one point. But you got content runs, paragraphs, and text. This works. Do it. It'll work. And then obviously set the variable here so that the document you just edited, it creates a new document. So you need to use that when the next time this thing loops through. So you set the variable inside here. Oh, one other trick. I saw this tip. It says turn on concurrency control to on and parallelism to 1. The system told me to do this, so I don't know if you really need to do it, but that's what it said. So this is normally off. So you turn that to on and degree of parallelism to 1. It says do that when you're using set variable inside and apply to each. So it'll probably prompt you if you don't do it, but do that. All right, piece of cake. So then after you just take your URL and use the finish editing, and it's going to output some content. And that content you're going to turn into a PDF and you're going to pump it out to create file. There's the content from that. Now, always remember, you've got with Cloud Immersive, in the stuff that I've been using, you got output content and body, which is for a URL. So pay attention does it need an input file URL, which is a URL in Cloud Immersive, or does it need like begin editing once content? So pay attention. Are you uploading content to it, or are you pointing at a URL that already exists? Think about that. That should help you out a little bit. All right, so I named the file output with the current timestamp make sure you put the .pdf because this content is PDF. It's not a Word document. So then Bob's your uncle. Piece of cake. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that didn't take you too long to watch and look through. I tried to make notes all throughout here, so take a look at those. And please like, subscribe, do whatever you want, share this thing. I honestly believe this will save your company hundreds, if not thousands of hours. It's pretty amazing stuff. All right, have a good day.